Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to go through the story of Mafia 3. If you haven't seen the videos about the first and second games yet, they're already on the channel, so go check them out. The main idea behind making a game like Mafia 3 was to show racism in America, and honestly, Hangar 13 had the guts to really go for it. In the game, you see all kinds of racist behavior that can actually make the player feel a sting, even if it's just for a short moment. The story, kind of like the first two games, is told in flashbacks. But this time it's different. It's more like a documentary where a bunch of people share the story from their own point of view, and piece by piece the full picture comes together. The game starts with Father James, the local church priest, talking about the life of our main character, Lincoln Clay. According to Father James, Lincoln was born in 1945 in the fictional city of New Bordeaux, which is basically modeled after the real city of New Orleans. 2 years later, his mother left him at the doorstep of an orphanage. 11 years after that, Lincoln had to leave the orphanage and ended up joining the Black Mob, a local African-American gang. The gang's leader, a man named Sammy Robinson, took Lincoln in as his own adopted son. But here's the thing, for kids of color back then in America, there was this painful question that broke their hearts. If most of society rejects you just because of your skin color or your race, then where do you belong? And for mixed-race kids, it was even harder. What exactly do you have to do for people, most of whom were racist, to accept you? It's not like you chose your skin tone or your parents' ethnicity yourself. This was exactly the situation for Lincoln. In 1966, he decided to join the U.S. Army, which was in the middle of the Vietnam War, hoping that by serving his country people would treat him like any other citizen. After 2 years of fighting, with nothing really improving, Lincoln came back to New Bordeaux in 1968. As soon as he arrived, Ellis, his stepbrother and Sammy's biological son, came to pick him up. They caught up for a bit, then headed to Sammy's bar where the whole family gathered to celebrate. Sammy gave a speech saying something like, "We're proud of you, man. In America's 20 years of fighting in Vietnam, you were right there for 2 of them, and that's worth a lot." Later, Father James mentioned that Lincoln was actually planning to leave New Bordeaux and head to California to work at a shipbuilding company with an old friend. But the very next morning, when Sammy and Ellis were in the middle of an argument, Lincoln walked in like,
"Listen to me." "What mess?"
It's not something you need to worry about, Lincoln. I got it under control.
Under control? God damn it, you need to open your eyes.
Sammy told him not to worry, saying there was just a problem with the Haitians, people from Haiti, and that it would be taken care of. He told Lincoln to go to his bar instead, where they were giving out food as an offering to celebrate his return and help out there.
Figure we got enough out there for... Should I come back?
In honor of your returning to us safe and sound, I made a donation to Father James here. Supplied him with food he can hand out to some of our needier family.
Well, I was hoping you'd lend me a hand, Lincoln, and give you a chance to see the neighborhood.
This thing with the Haitians, how serious is it?
You know Ellis. Someone looks at him the wrong way, he's on them like a wet dog.
Like I said, I can come back.
Nonsense. Lincoln needs to get out. Enjoy the day. Besides, be good for the 2 of you to spend some time together.
When Lincoln got to the bar, a bunch of Haitians showed up and started shooting. After the fight, Lincoln was left holding a bag of coins and cash. He went back to Sammy like, "What the hell is this?" That's when Sammy told him the truth. 6 or 7 months earlier, the Haitians had stolen money, jewelry, and even natural resources from the Hollow District, an area under Sammy's control. This left him short on cash and unable to pay the city's biggest crime boss, Sal Marcano, for the last 3 months. So here's the thing, in mafia politics, there's this rule: if you're under the city's mafia boss, you've got to pay him a set amount every month so you can keep doing your business without trouble. Now the problem is, Sammy hasn't paid Sal Marcano for 3 whole months, and that could have some really nasty consequences. That same night, Lincoln sneaks into the Haitians' hideout and takes out every last one of them. Finally, he gets to Baca, their boss, and kills him too, getting revenge and taking back everything they stole. That's also when we first meet Cassandra, a Haitian woman who had been locked up by Baca and, according to her, had been mistreated by him. We never actually see him lay a hand on her, but still, she manages to escape from us pretty quickly. After the mission, Lincoln heads back to Sammy and tells him everything's sorted. Sammy celebrates a bit and then drops the news. Sal Marcano himself has invited Lincoln to his mansion for dinner and dessert and wants to meet him in person. When we get to Marcano's mansion, we run into an old friend, Georgie, Sal's real son, and the two are genuinely happy to see each other. Inside the mansion, we meet 2 big names. Sal Marcano, the city's mafia boss, the guy Sammy owes money to. Vito Scaletta, the Charm King himself. It's never really explained why Vito is there, but apparently Lincoln's supposed to work for him, though Vito leaves pretty quickly. After he's gone, Marcano mutters new money punk under his breath. After Mafia II, Leo sent Vito to New Bordeaux so he could work for the Mafia Commission there, run a small crew, keep his head down, and keep doing his shady business without drawing too much heat. Right now, he's also keeping an eye on Sal Marcano's operations. Anyway, back to Sal's plan. He says that every year, federal agents take old bills out of circulation and destroy them, replacing them with new ones. This gives them the perfect chance to pose as feds, get inside a bank under the pretense of burning old bills, and walk away with all the cash, and they want Lincoln in on it. But Marcano doesn't stop there. He tells Lincoln that Sammy's getting old and has been screwing things up lately. So they're thinking of replacing him. Lincoln's like, "You mean Ellis?" And Marcano goes, "No, I'm talking about you. You're the perfect choice to take Sammy's place." Lincoln refuses, saying he could never take the place of the man who saved his life and gave him everything. Marcano shrugs it off, saying, "All right, no need to get all noble on us." In the end, they just agree that Lincoln will help them with the bank job. A little while later, the day of the operation finally comes. Lincoln and Georgie, dressed as federal agents, walk into the bank under the pretense of burning old bills. But instead, they slip right into the main vault and wait for Ellis, Sammy's son, and Danny, the son of one of Sal Marcano's Irish underbosses, Thomas Burke, to blow the floor open. The four of them grab as much cash as they can, escape through the sewers, push their way through crowds, and after a gunfight with cops, they manage to get away. That night, everyone gathers at Sammy's bar to celebrate. Sal Marcano even shows up to take whatever money Sammy owed him and be on his way. For Sammy, it felt like a dream, but the kind of dream that Vito Scaletta might have had too.
Be the baddest motherfucker I ever laid my eyes on. She shouldn't have said no.
That same night, a bullet meant to blow Lincoln's brains out just barely misses him. Right in front of his eyes, Sal Marcano and his men kill Ellis, Danny, and most importantly, Sammy. Then they set the bar on fire, leaving Lincoln there to burn. But Father James shows up just in time and saves him. Before passing out, Lincoln keeps saying just one thing: call John Donovan. Back in Vietnam, Lincoln had met John Donovan, a CIA operative who became one of his best friends during those 2 years in the war. When Lincoln left the war, so did Donovan, and now our main man needed his buddy more than ever. Father James took care of Lincoln with everything he had, and Donovan showed up soon after. After a few months, everything was calm, but it was that eerie calm before the storm. When Lincoln finally recovers, we get a cut scene where Father James tells him, "Your only enemy now is Sal Marcano, so just kill him and be done with it. Don't drag any more innocent people into this." Lincoln isn't having it. "No way, he took my whole family, so I'm going to destroy his entire operation piece by piece, right in front of him, and then I'll kill him." Later, in Donovan's office, John tells him, "If we try to take him down alone, we won't make it. We need help, and a lot of it." One of the groups they plan to recruit is the Haitians. Lincoln says, "I thought killing their boss would have wiped them out, but apparently not. They got a new leader, and they're gaining power." Curious, Lincoln sneaks into their new hideout to see who's in charge. And surprise, it's Cassandra, the same woman we found locked up when we killed Baca. Back then, she claimed he beat her and treated her horribly, but that was all an act to trick us so she could escape. From their conversation, we learned that the Haitians were robbing people in the Hollow because they hated Sammy's politics. Because Sammy would do anything Sal Marcano told him to, even if it hurt black folks like himself. The Haitians had expected him to have their backs, but he didn't. Lincoln takes it all in and offers Cassandra a deal. "Give me manpower and a place to hide, and I'll let you run the Hollow however you want." Cassandra almost agrees, but adds one condition. "First, you need to kill a guy named Richie, Sammy's underboss, who murdered my sister and is a disgusting child predator." But since going straight for the main target in the Mafia world just doesn't happen, before we can kill Richie, we've got to take out 2 of his most important guys who've been corrupting the Hollow like crazy. First up is Merle. This guy turned one of the city's biggest nightclubs into a full-on den of sin, and not the usual kind either. Second is Charlie. He turned the local church into a spot for buying, selling, and even producing heroin. By the grace of God and with some good old teamwork, Lincoln and Donovan's crew shift delete these scumbags off the face of the earth. Finally, it's Richie's turn, the one Cassandra asked us to kill. When Lincoln comes face to face with him, he instantly remembers his face. Because the night Sal Marcano betrayed them and burned down the bar, it was Richie who stabbed Ellis to death. Lincoln makes sure his revenge is brutal enough to send a clear message to every gang in the city.
I watched you stab Ellis in the gut. I couldn't do nothing about it then, but I sure as hell can now.
God damn it! None of that was my idea, you hear? It was all Georgie, him and his old man. They wanted y'all gone, not me. What was I supposed to do? Say no?
Either that or make sure that I was dead.
Oh, no. No, please. Listen. Just decent thing would be to let a man get in a prayer before you kill him.
You can pray on the way up.
Now that Lincoln's done with Cassandra's request, he heads back to Donovan to see who else they need to bring into the fold. Second recruit, Thomas Burke, the Irish mobster whose son Danny was killed by Sal Marcano that same night, if you remember, along with Sammy. He's basically in the same situation as Lincoln. Third recruit, our beloved Vito Scaletta. Like I said earlier, after Leo got Vito out of Empire Bay, he brought him to the Mafia Commission, the group that oversees mafia activities, and gave him a job. Vito's role was to keep an eye on the business and income in New Bordeaux, which Sal Marcano ran, and report to the commission if anything shady went down. Thing is, Sal hated Vito because he didn't let him just do whatever the hell he wanted. Of course, like any mobster in the city, Vito had his own small crew and controlled a minor district, nothing too big or important. But here's the problem, no one's heard from Vito in a while. So Donovan sends Lincoln to check on him. When we get to Vito's place, we find out that if we'd arrived an hour later, the poor guy would have been dead in this strange city. We managed to save him, and Vito, the hero of Mafia II, agrees to help us take down Sal Marcano. But first, he wants our help to get revenge on Sal's nephew, the one who beat him half to death with his men. Tracking down the nephew isn't easy, but after a tough search, we finally find his house. A car chase later, we catch him right in the street in nothing but his underwear. Lincoln and Vito tie him to a table and start asking, "What reason did you have to try and kill Vito?" At first, he says nothing, but after losing one of his fingers, he spills it. Marcano's building a casino. He doesn't know all the details, but the main reason they tried to kill Vito was to keep him from finding out, because if he did, he'd report it straight to the commission. Now that we've helped Vito get his payback, he's fully on board with us. That leaves one more recruit, Thomas Burke, the Irish mob boss whose son Sal Marcano killed on the night of the fire. Thomas was a mess after losing his son, drinking heavily, and completely losing control over the district he was supposed to run. He asks us to help him take it back, and in return he'll help us. We fight through an army of goons and finally restore his control over the area. And just like that, we've got ourselves a real crew ready to take on Sal Marcano. When the team meets for the first time, things don't exactly go smoothly. Everyone's ready to blow each other's brains out until Lincoln steps in with a badass speech and gets them all to calm down. Our hero lays out the order of operations and the plan. As you can see on the board, we need to take out 7 of Sal's key lieutenants and family members before we go after the man himself. First on the list is Enzo Conti, a retired lieutenant, shady businessman, and dealer who also happens to control all the city's train stations and railways. According to our CIA buddy John Donovan, Enzo recently shipped a ton of construction materials out by the lake, most likely for that casino Sal's nephew mentioned. Lincoln sees enough red flags to know this guy's worth hitting, so he does what he does best, clears out everyone in Enzo's territory, then gives him a call. During their conversation, they agree that Enzo, who's not exactly Marcano's biggest fan, will tell Lincoln who's been supplying all the materials for the casino. In return, Lincoln will save him from Sal's men and take him somewhere safe. Enzo agrees, and on the day they meet, he drops the name, Remy Duval. Remy's a big name in town, mostly because he's on the radio and everyone knows his voice. Turns out New Bordeaux's celebrities aren't much better than its gangsters. Lincoln keeps his word and rescues Enzo from Marcano's goons. Meanwhile, on the other side of the story, Sal Marcano is talking to his son Georgie about why he's building the casino. Sal says, "For 40 years, I haven't been able to sleep easy. I'm done with all this crime. I want to build this casino, run it for the rest of my life, and spend more time with my family. You'll get married. I have grandkids to spoil." But those are the reasons he tells Georgie. Now let me tell you the real ones, so you can see the rotten core of Sal Marcano. Let's rewind to the start. Sal Marcano, the city's top mob boss, used his influence over Sammy's gang to create a rift between them and the Haitians. That tension led to the Haitians hitting Sammy hard financially, putting him deep in debt to Marcano. When Lincoln came back, Sal invited him to his mansion, convinced him to join the bank heist, and then after the job, took way more than what Sammy owed, wiping out the black mob entirely. After that, he tried to take out Vito and Thomas Burke too. just to clear the way for his own loyal underlings to control every corner of the city so no one would dare oppose him. Right now, Sal Marcano is planning to use all the money he stole from Sammy to build his casino and legalize gambling in the city. Back then, every single person under his thumb was totally on board with it. One that rich folks and the whole city can pour money into, bringing in profits way bigger than what Sal's making now, and with way less risk. On top of that, the big mob boss would finally free himself from the Mafia commission, which he used to pay 20% of his earnings to every month. A few days later, our old pal John Donovan shows up and says, "We can't go after that radio celebrity just yet, he's way too protected." But one of Sal's guys, Frank Pagani, who just happens to be on our hit list, has been making some suspicious trips to Cuba. Turns out, after digging into it, we find out Pagani's been bringing in supplies from Cuba to finish Marcano's half-built casino. So we pull some strings and force Pagani to come back to New Bordeaux. Lincoln sneaks onto his ship, plants a tracker, and a bomb on his car. Once we've got his location, Lincoln does what Lincoln does best, takes everyone out one by one. But when he finally corners Pagani, we get a big twist. Lincoln's been wrong all along.
Figure out as a connection to Cuba.
Please. I'm all busted up inside. I need a doctor. I got a wife and 3 little girls.
Yeah, you want a doctor? Then you better tell me something worth hearing.
Listen, what you saw. Sal set all that up. None of the money was worth a shit, though. Had me bring in a man named Alvarez, counterfeiter who works for Castro.
He give you the plates, too?
Plates? I thought you knew. On account of robbery.
Robbery? Marcano wanted the plates from the Federal Reserve.
Remember that money we stole in the opening of the game? The same cash Marcano took from us was fake. The whole heist was actually about stealing the printing plates from the bank, which are now in Marcano's hands. He hasn't finished building the casino because he doesn't have the actual money. The plan was to use Pagani to bring in a master counterfeiter named Alvarez from Cuba so he could start cranking out fake bills and fund the casino project. Anyway, now it's time to deal with Remy, the guy Enzo told us about. Like I said, Remy's one of the most well-known faces and investors in the city, and it just so happens that Sal's casino is being built in his district. Thing is, he doesn't run the place alone. He shares control with Olivia Marcano, Sal's charming little sister. Forget the money laundering, scams, and other crimes for a second. What really seals his fate is the fact that he founded the Southern Union. This was a bunch of hardcore racists who believed people of color were trash and a disgrace to the country, holding rallies and chanting against them all the time. They were clearly based on the real-life Ku Klux Klan, or KKK. And while in the game they were all about keeping people of color out of their country, behind closed doors they were secretly kidnapping black immigrants and selling them as slaves to rich white folks. Finding out all this really made Lincoln's blood boil. So after a series of attacks on Remy's turf, he finally crashes one of those weird ceremonies the Southern Union holds, wipes them all out, and corners Remy himself.
What now, nigga? What now?
Have it your way.
Killing Remy doesn't just weaken Marcano. Turns out Remy had left all his assets in his will to his nephew, including the land where Marcano planned to build his casino. So yeah, things just got messy for our dear mob boss. Of course, Marcano's sister Olivia freaks out. If we can force Remy's nephew to sign something, we can fake the rest and make it all go away. A few hours later, after Marcano leaves the mansion, Lincoln shows up disguised as a wine supplier and goes straight for Olivia.
I never thought.
You can get shot.
Precisely. The first time I saw Lucio, he looked so handsome, dashing, even. He wore the finest suits, drove the best cars. There was always something terribly romantic about all of this.
There ain't nothing romantic about robbing and killing people.
Maybe not. But it certainly was exciting.
Where's DeGarmo?
Come. They have me out in a building. Down by the water.
After a quick scuffle, he gets the nephew's address from her and just walks away like, "You're not even worth the trouble of killing." When Lincoln arrives, he finds Remy's nephew beaten to a pulp but still refusing to sign. Our hero rescues him and hands him over to Donovan, who smuggles him out of town. The next day, Olivia turns up dead in a hospital. Remember Alvarez, the guy Marcano was bringing from Cuba to print fake cash? Donovan calls saying Alvarez just landed in New Bordeaux, and if Lincoln moves fast, he can grab him before Marcano's people do. Lincoln tracks him down, tells him, "Answer my question, and I'll get you out of Marcano's reach." He just wants to know where the fake money was going to be printed, and Alvarez spills it, an underground boxing club owned by Tommy Marcano, Sal's brother. Lincoln keeps his word and takes Alvarez to Father James for safekeeping. Meanwhile, Sal Marcano is fuming, telling Tommy, "Our people are screwing up left and right. You better protect that printing setup, and if Lincoln shows up, kill him." Tommy's like, "Fine, I'll kill him, but when did you even find out Lincoln's still alive?" And Sal says it was back when he was talking about his casino plans. So Lincoln reconnects with an old friend to sneak into Tommy's underground boxing club as a fighter. He beats everyone they throw at him, wins the match, and just as he's about to collect his prize, Tommy and his men jump him.
Damn moron coming in here like you did.
I've never been one to shy away from a calculated risk.
Maybe you should have.
Lincoln wakes up tied up with Tommy pouring a mix of gasoline and diesel on him, ready to burn him alive. But Lincoln breaks free, kills them all, takes the printing plates, torches the whole setup, and finishes Tommy for good. Now, with his counterfeiting operation in ashes and his little brother dead, Sal Marcano's only option left is to borrow money. So the proud mob boss ends up inviting one of the city's biggest heroin dealers, who also happens to be a raging racist, to his mansion to ask for a loan. And honestly, this is one of the best cut scenes in the game, because you can see Marcano's pride just getting shredded.
That you want my money? Say those words, please.
I want your money.
This is good. I will bring you the money.
The heroin dealer agrees to give Sal as much cash as he needs, even offers to have Lincoln Clay killed for him. But in return, Sal has to let this guy and his crew push as much heroin and other junk as they want in the city with zero interference, which is pretty ironic since Sal absolutely hates drugs. After the loan's done, the dealer and his boys tail Lincoln and pick a fight, but as usual, Lincoln wipes them all out and goes straight for that racist piece of trash. Next up is Tony DeRazio, the main accountant and fixer for the Marcano family, who mostly works for Sal's older brother, Lou Marcano. This guy is one of the hardest people in the mob to get to, because he works on the top floor of the biggest hotel in the city and only leaves when it's time to whack someone. But as you've probably figured out by now, nothing stops Lincoln, the one-man army who's been mowing down the whole city. So he kills Tony's driver, sneaks into the hotel, and quietly makes his way to the top floor. While Tony is talking to Lou, Lincoln barges in, kills him, and swipes a little notebook I'll tell you about in a second. Lincoln takes the notebook to Donovan, and it turns out Lou recently funneled a huge amount of cash into the account of one of the city's most famous judges to make sure he rules in Sal's favor and legalizes gambling across the city. Lincoln pays the judge a visit and makes sure he's out of the picture so the plan can't go through. Sal loses it and starts screaming at Lou, saying, "You couldn't even protect one judge? Now what the hell am I supposed to do?" And Lou's like, "Relax, I know a senator named Jacobs who's all about taking bribes and has pull everywhere, so don't sweat it." Lou throws a party on one of his biggest yachts to butter up Jacobs, but when things start going south, both of them panic and look for a way out. Then Lincoln shows up ready to kill them both, but before he can, the yacht explodes. Jacobs is killed instantly, while Lincoln and Lou get thrown into the nearby swampy woods. Lou tries to run but gets caught, and Lincoln tells him, "I got a message for your brother." The next day, Lou's hanging from the city's famous statue with a sign around his neck saying, "Pick another Jacobs." The message is clear. No matter what Sal tries, Lincoln's going to block him and make his life hell. Now, with almost everyone he cares about gone, Sal's under massive pressure. He and his son Georgie decide to gather whatever soldiers they have left and hole up in Sal's half-finished casino, built with the heroin dealer's money. This is their last stand to stop the complete collapse of the Marcano family. Lincoln and Donovan, who have been eavesdropping as always, burn all the evidence they've collected because they know this is the endgame. Then Lincoln, at 23 years old, storms the casino solo without any of his allies or even Donovan, cutting through Marcano's men until he finally gets revenge on Georgie.
I always thought you were my friend, that you had me and Ellis's backs. It was just an act. You didn't kill me because I said no. You killed me because you thought you owned me. Owned all of us.
It was never about us. It was about my old man. My father. I'd do anything for him. Same as you and Sammy.
And you understand why I have to do this.
With that done, Lincoln goes for 56-year-old Sal Marcano. You can kill him in 11 different ways, though the game only officially has 2 endings for Sal. Either he kills himself, or you throw him off the roof. Mafia III is so buggy that players actually found other ways too.
I'm gonna be waiting for you, Lincoln Clay. This won't be the last time we see each other.
I know.
After leaving the casino, Lincoln runs into Leo Galante, the same guy from Mafia II that we first met in prison. As a member of the Mafia Commission, Leo tells Lincoln the other bosses are terrified he might come after them next. Leo says, "You killed Sal Marcano and got what you wanted, so I'm asking you to end it here. Just pay your 20% cut every month and we'll be fine." And then he leaves. After that cutscene, the game gives you 3 possible endings. First option, and honestly the best one, run the city with your 3 underbosses. Lincoln becomes one of the most powerful mob bosses in the world, expanding into Florida and the Carolinas, doing some good along the way like building schools, hospitals, training centers, charities, and rebuilding his home neighborhood, the Hollow, though a few years later booze and drugs become legal in the city. The biggest loss for Lincoln is Father James, who'd been like a dad to him. Second option, the dumb one, kill all 3 underbosses and run the city alone. Pick this and Father James plants a bomb in your car. Third option, hand everything over to one of your underbosses and leave New Bordeaux. Remember at the start when Father James said Lincoln planned to go to California to work in a shipyard with a friend? That's exactly what happens here. After a few years, he travels to a few other cities, then disappears completely, and no one ever hears from him again. So yeah, the ending of Mafia 3 is up to you. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop a like and make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one.